What is up, my Marks? We are live. It's your boy Pro Wrestling Kingpin, and I present to you along with my boys, the SMACKTALK Wrestling Podcast, episode 38, our Elimination Chamber reaction show. So, guys, what do you want to talk about?
Everything's wrong. Everything was wrong. Everything was beautifully wrong. And I'm still buzzing because I just got done watching SmackDown and then also the Chamber all within the last hour and a half. So I've been buzzing. Like, I'm still riding a high from the conclusion of everything.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie, though. I mean, it was a damn near flawless show. But before we get into Chamber, let me just reintroduce my co-host for everyone out here. So I'm once again joined by my boy Angel, my cousin, real life cousin, no kayfabe here, the king of the gaming Twitch universe, AOK Gaming. What is going on, my guy?
What's up, bro? Glad to be back again. Talk about this chamber.
Hell yeah, we're about to dive in big time. And then we are here, of course, with the ultimate wrestling troll of them all, the king of the Yugis, king of the Pokemon Pocket, better known as David Gonzo. What is going on, my guy?
I hate it. I just hate it. I didn't want to play Pokemon Pocket, and now I just reached level 30, so I don't like what I'm becoming. It's almost like me and John Cena have something in common now.
I'm sure your boy Bruno will bring you back to reality.
Ah, boy.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know. Sheesh. EP, anyone else notice the Rock counted 2 instead of 3? We'll get there. We'll get there. Derek the Guy, thank you for joining. We are so back. Back-to-back pods last 2 weeks. It's like Christmas. Yeah, man, life happens. We're back. Weekly schedule, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time every Sunday. Unless there's a PLE on Sunday, then we'll delay it. But
this
lately,
is Marc's
on
flu game right now.
Huh?
This is your flu game right now.
This is my flu game right now, man. I am hungover as shit. But it is what it is. All right. So for those of you guys listening or watching for the first time, this is a WWE-based podcast where we discuss the landscape of the WWE, usually this past week in the WWE, except for PLE shows such as this week. So the majority of this show will be discussing the Elimination Chamber. But before we get there, I'm going to let you guys sweat it out a little bit. Once again, I just said we talk about the entire week of the WWE. We're not going to break down Monday Night Raw or SmackDown just because those are usually go-home shows for the PLEs. But I do just want to quickly just go over a little bit of NXT, and then we'll get to, of course, to the main events. We'll discuss it. I know you guys want to talk about Corporate Cena. We'll get there. But before we get to Corporate Cena, we're going to talk about just a little bit of NXT just for a little bit, and then we'll get to you. And just keep in mind, guys, of course, the chat is live. Anything you guys say, of course, as long as it's not, terrible, we will put it up there. We'll do an open discussion. So please, we love the engagement. Just call out Gonzo on his bad takes. We're here for it, and that's all we got to do. All right. So going on right now, we got NXT/TNA. Angel's girl Stephanie Vakir successfully retained the Women's North American Championship against Carbon Petrovic, which I think was pretty obvious. But the key thing that I do want to talk about, Julia comes out post-match and congratulates her, but instantly goes into who is the better champion. And it seems as though we're getting champion versus champion, title for title already between these two absolute superstars in NXT. Is this too soon? Or do you guys like this booking? Like, what is going on here? Angel, Valkyrie's your girl, so I'm going to let you break this down for us right now.
I mean, it's for sure. Isn't it a for sure thing? I thought.
Yeah.
Baby sure. Boss. Baby Final Boss said it. Okay. So
Baby Final Boss said it.
I think it's kind of crazy. I don't know. I'm so biased with Stephanie Vakir, as you guys already know. Like, I think she should have the NXT title anyway, so I hope she wins this, but I think most people are going to say it's going to get, interrupted or, no actual result will come from it. But I don't know, Julia versus her, they've been like teasing that since they got here. Even I think the first day they even were in the ring together, they were like friends but frenemies type vibes is what they were trying to give them always. And so this has always been like there since they started. So I get why they went that way. But yeah, I don't know. It might be just too soon, especially for both of them, who are fairly new and succeeding. But I don't know. Maybe this is just what they feel like doing right now with Roxanne just doing everything else going on. So they don't have a lot more for the women's division and that level yet. But we'll see.
Gonzo, you have any takes on this before I go?
Is it bad for business? No. The fans have been wanting this for who knows how long, right? Because I've said this before. NXT, I will continue to argue, is meant for a lot of fans that are very much so into wrestling. They follow various promotions. So this really isn't necessarily anything quote unquote new or too diabolical to me. With that, maybe for WWE viewership, obviously it could be said that it's clearly a little bit too soon. But for the fans that have been following each of these superstars for quite some time, know very well what each can do. And so you're going to Vegas. You're selling tickets. The stories that are going to be told now on the route to WrestleMania, what is it, less than 50 days now? Or in this case, NXT's version, Stand and Deliver, of WrestleMania. So I'm interested to see what the ladies are going to be able to cook up now.
I absolutely hate it. I think it's dumb. I know that when I say we, I see as wrestling as a whole. I know we've been wanting to see this match, but remember the Women's North American Championship is less than a year old. Stephanie Valkyrie just had her first title defense that night. That was her first defense. She's 1-0 in defenses. Julia just had her first title defense. And now all of a sudden we're putting them in title versus title. Neither of these women, honestly, at the stage of their careers and the titles that they're holding, can afford a loss right now. So like Angel said it, I mean, we're going to put them in a ring and we're already almost guaranteeing a shitty finish because neither of them can take a loss. So someone's almost guaranteed to interfere to make sure no one takes an L, some type of no contest. And it's like now you're dragging this out to, stand and deliver, WrestleMania weekend. But at the same time, even if it's stand and deliver, I still think it's too early for this. One of them have to drop their championship when they just got it. I think this is bad booking. I think this is really bad booking. Despite you guys want to have this championship match or not, now you're gonna have 2 belts on somebody. Damn near, you know how they always put 2 belts on people and they unify them. Like I don't think they're gonna unify them, but I'm just saying like 2 people, one person carrying these 2 belts, especially when you're still trying to bring the Women's North American Championship into some type of championship prestige. I think it's just a bad move. I think it was a great move putting it on Stephanie if you're gonna have Julia champion, but this is just a bad move in my opinion. But I mean, I guess I'm always negative, right? I mean, it's just
No, I don't think you're negative. But I will also say if there is a result somehow, I do see Julia winning because I feel like Stephanie can not handle. Of the 2 of them, she's the one that doesn't need a belt per se. Neither of them do, but I guess Stephanie Moore could take it, I guess. I don't know how else to say it, but she could take that L, I guess. Not really. But.
Take the L? I mean, but does she deserve to take that L right now? I mean,
no, absolutely not. Not to me,
just,
no. But
I mean,
who can carry it more.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm just going to keep going on this negative stream, but I mean, I just said it right now, and if anybody else disagrees with me, go right ahead and give me some type of good rebuttal. But I think we're just going to leave it as a bad booking, in my opinion. But we'll see. Going on with NXT real quick. So we had Moose successfully retain the TNA X Division Championship on WWE television against Lexis King. Oba immediately comes out post-match to inform Moose that he will defend the NXT Championship at NXT's Roadblock. It is not a PLE. It's just one of those special shows on Tuesday. But we're getting the match that everybody's been wanting since Oba came on the scene. I mean, with Moose being probably the 5-star talent on TNA, you got to presume he's losing to Oba. Do you like the match? Do you feel like Oba shouldn't lose? I mean, is this kind of like, yeah, you're doing this dream match, but TNA once again just submitting to WWE? I mean, how do you feel about that, Gonzo?
I know nothing about Moose. So for me, I have no emotional investment. He's a dude that has a belt that looks big. Cool. Like, I know Obafemi. He's been squishing people left and right. I have emotional investment in him. So to me, this is another squish match for my almighty M'Baku. Now, I probably upset a good amount of individuals that have much more knowledge than I do when it comes to Moose, but this is just what my background is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here and try and say that, yeah, I'm excited for this. Well, I'm excited for Oba to squish this guy too, because he's done it to everybody else so far. And that's an inferior brand with an inferior title. I mean, that's how I feel as far as storyline and booking would go. But that also then would be the ignorance of a person who doesn't want to expand their overall horizons with other wrestling. Let me then restate this is that I naturally, because who I am, when something like that is presented to me, I will do research. I want to know who he is. I'm going to dive into it. And because I haven't watched all that much of TNA wrestling, my emotional investment isn't quite there yet. Where Oba, I've been getting into wrestling this entire last year. And I started off strictly with just watching WWE and anything WWE related. Now that my investment is there, I have a lot of emotion that is now pieced out into so many different types of wrestling and matches. And all of these other individuals now are being introduced to me slowly. And at my own pace, I am choosing to now look them up. So with whatever WWE is presenting, it's working for me. And so therefore I am getting invested because I'm starting to learn a little bit more about TNA and what they're doing and who else is on the roster. So that way I'm not sitting here wondering who this random person is. So for me, I'm interested, but I'm not going to sit here and say like I am banging on the tables because I want this to happen.
So based off his presentation, because you're a presentation guy,
very
we
big,
all know
yes.
this about it. All right. So based off of Moose's presentation and the little that you've seen him, do you feel like this match could get you excited, or do you just don't give a shit and you just want Oba to squash him and not actually see it for what it actually is, being someone who doesn't watch TNA?
No, I'm excited for it. I want to see if Moose, because again, he's a big thing, right? Everyone seems very excited for it. That has me intrigued. I actually like the idea of, again, two larger than life physical presenting individuals now going toe to toe, because I know Oba can go clearly. So I'd like to now see what Moose can do. So at least from curiosity standpoint, it's done it for me.
So I like Moose, everything except his finisher. And once Gonzo sees it, if he hasn't seen it already, he's just
Haven't seen it yet. Haven't seen it yet. Let me guess, it's the spear.
It's a rolling spear.
Oh, Christ. Another person that's using a spear. Okay.
Angel, anything you want to add to this before we move on?
I will say that he looked pretty athletic in that match against Alexis. It was pretty cool to see a big guy move like he does. So he has the body of like almost like a Bobby Lashley. Well, not that crazy, but just a bigger body.
That's his comparison. That's his comparison.
Yeah, but he actually can move. Bobby could never move, but this guy can actually move and get the crowd going. So I enjoyed his match with Alexis King. I thought Alexis King actually had a really good match in that one.
I thought the match was really solid regardless.
Yeah, it was a really solid match for two guys from two different companies fighting for the first time. Or I don't know if they've ever fought in the past, but it was a pretty good match. So that was interesting. The whole thing with Oba, though, I mean, I think it's exciting. I think this crossover has really opened my eyes to how much these other companies produce talent that we just don't know about. You have Jordan Grace, who came over. Now she's here permanently in NXT. You have the Hardy Boys coming over, Gonzo. So I wonder if you're going to have that same attitude about TNA for that when we talk about that matchup. But, I mean, you just have all these crossovers that, like when we were kids, we always talked about, WCW and any other company crossing over WWE, but obviously that's not possible back then until one of them folded. But now it's like, oh, this is so much cooler. You get to see Joe Hendry and like everyone else that could be potential superstars that WWE won't be able to even show you unless they have this forbidden door open. So it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. And I'm glad you brought the Hardy Boys because they successfully retained the TNA Tag Team Championships against the No Quarter Crutch crew. And then post-match, we had Fraxium come out and challenge the Hardy Boys for the TNA Tag Team Championships. And Santino coming out with his old school music that he doesn't use in TNA. The crowd went wild. And he makes it official. So we're getting Fraxium versus the Hardy Boys for the TNA Tag Team Championships. I'm all for this match. I kind of wish that this was a double title because I think out of all the people in TNA, WWE would allow the Hardy Boys to carry a WWE championship around because of who they are. So I would like to see the Hardys dethrone Fraxium because in no way, shape, or form, in my opinion, despite how good Fraxium is, I feel like it's just one of those teams that WWE is just waiting to break up, and they absolutely do not deserve to beat the Hardy Boys. So I'm just throwing that out there right now. But yeah, so we got that coming. And then lastly, before we get to Chamber, I know everyone wants to talk about Chamber. We have the system on TNA television, which is the X Division champion Moose, Eddie Edwards, and Brian Myers defeat the TNA tag team champions, the Hardys, and Oba Femi on Impact. So one thing I want to note is that this cross-promotional feud between Oba and Moose has been built perfectly. They're both coming on each other's shows weekly. Oba took an L. He didn't get pinned, but Oba took an L on TNA television, and I think that's huge. And it's just great for us as fans. Tremendous storytelling. Hopefully we can get people like this guy to watch the inferior product and actually get invested here and there. But the build for this match has me excited. I just can't wait for Oba to hit the spear so David could lose his mind. I mean, I'm sorry, for Moose to hit the spear on Oba. So you can,
yeah. Oh, as you've been talking, I looked it up. It's garbage. It's another person using the spear. Jey Uso uses the spear. Jimmy uses the spear. This guy uses the spear. The only one that has a legit cool spear right now, excluding Roman Reigns, is Braun Breaker, because he's literally going 85 miles an hour and almost took off his own head to kill someone. Other than that, everyone uses a spear. It's a setup move. It's a finisher move. It's a super kick. It's a punch. It's a slap. So that's the end of my rant.
All right, we'll leave it off with that. Let's just
question. Then we can transition. Did Moose use the South Side of Heaven as a finisher, or is YouTube misleading me? Because that was a finisher apparently that he used once upon a time.
He used it, and he was told to stop. Look it up. It's the whole interview about it.
Okay.
Well, he was told to stop. Why?
Yeah, because other people used it, and people were kicking out of it in TNA, so he wasn't allowed to use it anymore.
Oh, it was okay. All right. Well,
I want to say one more thing
that
about the
move's
Hardys.
A little bit better.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
I think they're gonna win because it's not a double title match. I think if it was a double title match, it could go either way. But it being a non-title match, I think the Hardys are gonna win for sure.
Oh, 100% they're gonna win.
Yeah.
And that let me piggyback. They're 100% gonna win because they're gonna pin the NXT champions, NXT tag team champions, and in WWE terms, that makes you the number one contender, and it won't be over them. So if you pin a champion, there you go. So we shall see. They better not lose. They're not allowed to, whatever. We're gonna transition. All right, so let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about. Let's talk about Elimination Chamber. So I think it was a phenomenal show from top to bottom. I think it was literally a 4.5 out of 5. The only reason I didn't give it a perfect show is because the Trishi and Tiffy time match was good. Wasn't great, but it was good. It was good for what it was. Other than that, I thought everything just delivered in this match. But let's break it down real quick. So the highlights, we'll break it down, and then we'll talk about each match. So we had Jade Cargill return to brutally attack Naomi. So it's seemingly that Naomi may have attacked her. I'm still on the Bianca Belair train. I think she did it. But we'll see. We had Trishi and Tiffy time win. KO defeats Sami Zayn in a brutal unsanctioned match. KO doesn't seem like he's done with Sami. We had Randy Orton return to save him. Bianca Belair and John Cena, Corporate Cena, are heading to WrestleMania. Cody turns down The Rock. John Cena turns heel. John Cena doesn't comment on the heel turn at the post show. It's very heel. I don't know if you guys watched the post show or not. And then Triple H, to end it, says nothing is set in stone when it comes to current WrestleMania main events. So I thought that was very heavy, something for him to say. So I think something's going to happen with one of the main events. I mean, for him to go and say that on the post show, that means they're thinking about something. But there's that. So let's start it before we talk about Cena. Women's Elimination Chamber. Once again, we saw Jade Cargill come and absolutely start a show. Absolutely amazing. And this is how a show should start every time. Not saying with a jumper, but something just spectacular like this. Fucking phenomenal. She's back. Angel's hype. Angel, take it away.
Hell yeah, dude. Finally she's back. I'm glad she whooped Naomi's ass. Even if Naomi's innocent, it's just good to see her get pissed off that she was holding her belt and representing her spot while she was gone. So good luck to Naomi. But it was just badass to see her. She looks in great shape as always and just dominate that start of the chamber. The acting by all the women in that chamber was really good. Alexa Bliss looked shocked. Liv
Let me interject.
Was hilarious.
Bianca in the chamber just screaming. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Like just absolutely screaming because she couldn't do shit. And she's even looking at the referees. I was like, yo, open this shit. And they were just like,
yeah, and they weren't
too
opening
bad.
it.
But go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good. Yeah, that whole scene was great. Liv screaming at Bianca saying that this is your fault. Like that was hilarious. Like they just all did such a good job. So that opening was great. I'm glad Jade's back, and I hope we're gonna be able to see her at WrestleMania. I really do. I don't know how, but I hope we see her somehow.
And what'd you think about the match and the winner overall?
Oh, the match as well. The Bianca winning. The match itself was pretty damn good. It was almost like as far as like there was no flaws as far as like mistakes or anything like that. It seemed like a very clean match to me. Like it went smoothly. No one really had any like hiccups or anything like that. It was pretty intense. Bianca took a lot of bumps. Liv taking that whip with the braid was crazy. It was, everyone saw her stomach. She was a trooper, kept going, had a lot of crazy spots. I mean, it was a pretty good match. Bianca winning is interesting now because it ties in Jade and everything like that. So
I'm not laughing at you.
Jesus. I know what you're laughing at. I see it. Derek's stupid.
Go on.
He made me lose track of what I was saying. Bianca winning is interesting, I said, because it involves Jade now with the whole, who jumped her and her rebelling and everything else. So I think it's interesting. It was kind of unexpected a little bit, but I think we made our predictions before they lost the tag team titles, right? Because they lost them the next day, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so her losing the tag team title, yeah, if we would have had our show on Tuesday, I probably would have said Bianca has a really good chance of winning the chamber because she just lost her belt and now she could be projected back into the main card scene. So, but yeah, I think that's all I got for it for now. I already talked a lot.
So before we go to Gonzo, we got Riverdog says the match was awesome, but the winner was Yeah. I might be right there with you. Gonzo, go ahead. What'd you think about how it started? Do you agree with Bianca winning? Let's go.
Oh, man. Well, no, Pop Rocks did nothing to claim victory in this one, so everybody's wrong all the way through. I was speechless last week when we were talking. I just threw out Bailey as just a random name that I very much so knew wasn't going to win, but you needed a name, right? Here I said Roxanne Perez. But as I've kind of sat with this and I've had a few people kind of throw out random comments, they're building for SummerSlam. You'll tell your story, specifically, of course, with Bianca Belair and how she's going to somehow tell a story. She's going to beat Rhea Ripley, and then you're going to have possibility of Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill in SummerSlam. In the meantime, you're going to have the story just continue with Bianca, or not Bianca, but Naomi and Jade doing whatever it is that they're going to do. And at some point, you're going to have that clashing of the two titans, right? And so from a storytelling perspective, there's a lot of work that they're going to have to do in order to make this Bianca winning this opportunity at WrestleMania make me interested. Everybody else, for the most part, had some type of story to a certain degree. And I was a little scared there. You had Liv Morgan, and then you had Bianca, and I'm like, no. As much as I like Liv, I said, I don't want to see this, and I don't want to see it again. But it was almost like an air being let out of me to a certain degree. But each lady did a wonderful, wonderful job with the presentation, and especially to leave the last thing I wanted to make mention of is just the introduction that Jade Cargill had to start the show off. I can't remember the last time that a presence was felt like that in a very long time to start a show, but then a match like that too, where you're all trapped in the cage. There's nothing really going on. This was done. I don't even have the right words for it, but I was rather happy, excited. I felt like a little kid again because it's a matter of when is she coming back, right? When is she coming back? And I didn't think that it would be at the start of the Elimination Chamber. Historically, and most of you probably would agree with me, you're going to see stuff like this at the end of the chamber match, right? Usually
Like
that's
when AJ Styles did it.
absolutely, like when all these things happen, but to start it right from the get-go and then just get rid of her slit throat style, 3 fingers in the air. I mean, come on. And the fact that she got smashed with the door on top of that, all of it was visually fantastic. I have no negative remarks about this entire women's chamber match.
That door smashing even got the crowd. They're like, "Oh shit!" Like that was wild.
Yeah, it was loud.
That was wild.
That's where I'm at with all those things. And like I said, there's not enough substance yet to make me care about this title shot at Mania. It's not there yet. They're going to have to unveil some things, which they've already been doing. So we'll see what happens.
I guess it's me. So I'm gonna leave my bias at the door because we all know I wanted Roxy to win. So I'm gonna leave that at the door for a second. I'm just gonna go with the overall story that we've been given. I don't think Bianca was the right choice. I understand there's a whole following that everyone's like, I love Bianca, whatever. She wants to tail whip people all day. I don't care. I don't think with the story being told, I still think she's involved with Cargill and Naomi in some capacity, and this just leads to a distraction leading up to WrestleMania. I don't think story-wise she should have won that match. Should it have been Roxy? Maybe. Should it have been the returning Alexa Bliss? I think so. I think that would have been the better move in my opinion. But with every person that was in there and their stories that were being told, Bayley's currently feuding with Roxy. You had Liv Morgan feuding with the former tag team champions Belair and Naomi. Then you got the returning Jade Cargill. I just think there was just so many different variables that Belair being thrusted into this title picture is one, not necessary because the story is there for a big time match at WrestleMania. And 2, I don't want to say not deserving, but just at this point in her career, there was better choices to face Rhea Ripley. Not saying that she doesn't deserve it because Bianca Belair 100% can go. She's amazing. I mean, that freaking whip that she did on Liv Morgan when they were climbing, I thought that was like my favorite spot. It was so loud and that shit looked like it legitimately hurt. And she's a great performer. But just based on storytelling and what we're given right now, and us going to WrestleMania plays a factor in who I want to see in those matches, I'm not invested.
You said that last week, so I'm waiting.
This juncture,
I'm waiting.
This juncture,
patiently.
You know what I mean? Like it's just like at this juncture, like I'm not invested in Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. I'm not.
Not yet.
I'm more invested of Bianca Belair versus Jade Cargill. That's a WrestleMania match that I'm sure Angel's dying to see. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to see. But I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens tomorrow night on Monday Night Raw. I mean, it's a very important Raw as we're fully on the way to WrestleMania. There's no more PLEs. This is it. It's a wrap. So I don't know. That's just what we have to see. But the match overall was great. Amazing moments.
Can I say something about
about
Bianca winning?
Yeah.
I think what happened with this one too, you already had one comeback person get a title shot for the other one. Mm-hmm. If you did both of comeback people at the same time for both of the top titles for the women, you might have had a little bit of issue in the locker room because I feel like you can't put both titles on 2 comeback people at the same time, especially at WrestleMania. So I feel like this was kind of a, giving back to the people that have been going through the grind of the year, and Bianca's someone that the rest of the locker room could be like, yeah, Bianca deserves this WrestleMania main event again. So I think that's kind of what happened with this one, particularly with the choice. And then one more thing I want to say is I think Bianca's on SmackDown, no?
Technically.
Don't matter no more.
Technically. But
so this match of Bianca versus Rhea technically isn't really something you would have seen probably, within the past like year and a half or so because of the the brand. So it's just interesting they got Bianca facing Rhea because they obviously haven't had like any interacting for the past year almost. So it's just an interesting choice.
You're right. All right, so moving on from that, we had Tiffy and Trishy win. I think the pairing of them is just absolutely genius. Trish doesn't age. I'm just gonna throw that out there, like Jesus Christ. And I think she looks.
Botox is a wonderful thing.
Don't care. Whatever it is, it's working. But Trishy and Tiffy as the pairing is fucking gold. I mean, that's just amazing. And I was talking to Angel about this earlier. This is not looks wise, but it does play a role. But I feel like Trish looks better now, and that includes in ring and of course her looks now than she did growing up. Because I felt like these returning people like Lita and Trish coming into this age of women's wrestling and how good they are in comparison to us growing up and watching those 2-second, women's matches. I feel like while yes, Trish Stratus and Lita were the GOATs of that generation, they really had to up their game to keep up with this generation of women because this generation of women blows them out of the water, in my opinion. And I think Trish just puts on a great show right now, currently. I think this match was the worst one, but that doesn't mean it wasn't good. I thought the match was very good. I think they did good spots in the match. Trish looked great. Tiffy looked great. And I liked it overall, but I just wanted to say that about Trish. So do you guys have any thoughts on this match?
I mean, it was a good time, just to stretch your legs, go wander off. If you have no investment whatsoever in Trish Stratus,
don't say that.
Not everyone knows who Trish Stratus is.
Jesus Christ. Everyone knew it.
Yeah,
Did you not see her? Everyone knows who Trish Stratus is. The guy in the front row had her poster growing up.
Well,
come on.
And she specifically had identified which one most likely that it was. Most people, again, know who she is. Then there are those that probably don't. The newer generation. Who is this person? They look identical. Are they sisters? I don't know. I'm just making up random things here. But again, how am I the worst? I'm trying to speak for, again, the fandom that probably doesn't know who Trish Stratus is. And so with that being said, again, this was just a good opportunity as a cool down match. You had a lot of stuff just happen. They were going to do whatever it is that they were going to do. I'm not expecting anything significantly big to pop from there. Trish is from, again, Canada. Awesome. Get your spots in. And again, she did good. All right, great. Next, can we quickly get to the men's chamber? That's really all I cared about after the women's chamber.
Derek the guy, yeah, it was my bathroom match. I watched it, but had to get up and use the restroom and get a drink. It would have been during that match. All you had to do was press pause. That's the day and age that we live in now. Okay.
Exactly.
What if he's at the bar? What if he's at the bar? He can't do that.
What were you saying, Angel?
Oh, I didn't say anything yet.
Oh, okay, go ahead. You're up. You're up. Yeah, Gonzo's done. We're gonna mute him like around the horn. He's done. So
all right. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I mean, it could have been your bathroom match. That's fine. For me, if Trish and Tiffy are in ring gear, I'm probably watching that whole match. But I will say
thank you.
I will say it was a fun match, to be honest. It was cool to see Trish out there. She looks spry. I mean, she's in great shape. So her in-ring abilities probably are better because back when in her era, it was the diva era, and in-ring stuff.
All she had to do was women slap somebody and you're done.
Yeah, exactly. Trish, she played her part. She was good on the mic. She played her little roles that were very, successful for her. So now she's actually got to wrestle because everyone can act, everyone looks pretty, and everyone can wrestle. So you better figure it out if you want to be back on the show because this generation is much different. They're the total package. So I think she's shown that she's put in the work to do that. There was a little hiccup at the very end. I think Tiffy was supposed to get a moonsault on the other corner and Trish was stuck or something. But other than that, it was a fun match to watch. I mean, it wasn't anything super special, but I liked who was in there, like Naya and stuff. So
I thought it flowed very nicely. It was a fun match. Yeah. The only thing I had a problem with was that Trish Stratus has been doing the Stratus faction since the beginning of time, and she fucked it up.
I know, but it was a super satisfaction though.
It was. But I'm like, dude, you've been doing this shit for 30 years, bro. Come on. But whatever.
Give her a break.
I will. She can do whatever she wants, and nothing. It's always 5 stars. All right, KO Sami Zayn, brutal freaking match. There's a bunch of spots in this match that you could say that it was just crazy, but I think the sickest part that I love that I actually popped and I was like, holy shit, was when Sammy hit the blue thunder bomb on the barbed wire chair table.
Yep.
And this fucker kicked out. Like, oh my, like, dude, that was. I don't even like the blue thunder bomb like that. I mean, it is different, but I mean, essentially, it's just a power bomb that you do a tornado. But man, that was like the best delivered. I mean, their chemistry, because they've known each other for 25 years, is just nuts. And you could see it in the ring. I mean, obviously, there's just so many different things to show. But this, I mean, if this was on any other PLE, this would have been my favorite match of the PLE. But obviously, like I said, with it being Chamber, there's a lot of things that happened. But I just thought it was amazing. But I do want to ask you guys, number one, obviously, what did you guys think about it? And number two, are they done? Do we run it back at Mania? Obviously, now we have the Randy Orton aspect as well. What's going on with this feud, Angel?
To me, it was match of the night. I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was, and before I gotta say that before the event even started, I had this down as the match I was least invested in for the men's side of the matches. I just felt like it was not important, and I was kind of sick of their rivalry. Their promos were kind of weird, and like, I don't know, I wasn't invested in it, even though I know their history. So going into this match, I was kind of like, all right, it's unsanctioned, cool. We'll see what happens. Bro, they fought like brothers fighting. Like, it was crazy. Like, when the crowd started screaming ECW, 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 dude, that was just lit. You know what I mean? Just absolutely lit. Like, the crowd was going crazy. They did so many crazy spots.
I feel like in a hardcore match,
chair was super unique.
In a hardcore match, when they chant ECW, that's when you won. Like, we got them this match. Like, that's what you want. Like,
hell yeah.
Go on.
Yeah. So yeah, the barbed wire chair was super unique. I thought that was genius. To set one up like that. The double table flip that Sammy took, that was a hard bump. Everything, it was almost a perfect match as far as hardcore matches go. It didn't go too far where it wasn't even wrestling anymore, but it delivered on everything that you thought you wanted to see in an unsanctioned match. And those two put on a show. And the kickouts are crazy. They're getting their stuff smashed up. The only thing I will say, I guess that the very last pin, I wish he would have used that barbed wire chair or something for the pin. It seemed like he power bombed his neck on the apron, and that was it. That was kind of the finisher. I wasn't too happy about the finisher. I felt like they went through so much more during the match that finisher was kind of like, I don't know, it was kind of lackluster, I guess. But other than that, I'm glad KO won. He deserved that win. So, and I think they continue a little bit longer. Probably WrestleMania, obviously, that's what's next.
So what's the Randy Orton aspect of it then?
Dude, I forgot about that. Dude, I was so glad to hear Randy Orton's back. Hell yeah, I freaking love Randy Orton.
So KO took him out, so now
KO's
he's back. So like, how does that, like, do we get like KO and Randy Mania? Do we get KO Sammy at Mania? Do we get all three of them? Right. Like what's going on? You know what I mean? There's just so many
Randy
different
being thrown in there is like, that totally could change it so that maybe Sammy will be out for a while. Maybe he won't be able to perform until WrestleMania or something. Then they'll make it a triple threat or something. I don't know. But we'll see. I forgot Randy had come out. You're totally right. I was so excited that he's back. Yeah, I don't know. It's definitely possible.
All right. Sammy could be on the pup. All right, Gonzo, how do you feel?
Legend Killer Orton. How do you forget about Legend Killer Orton?
I forgot.
He's not a true fan.
And I love Randy Orton, dude. Sorry, I forgot he came
I get all of the flack from most of the chit chat that I tend to stir up, and I think that unfortunately is going to take it for tonight. Legend Killer Orton, not Randy Orton, Legend Killer Orton, punting your head across the entire stadium for everyone to see, a banned move that was going to be utilized in that moment. And all of a sudden, all security finally got a hold of everybody and finally dispersed everyone throughout the madness. No, that match was fantastic. For me, not just the wrestling and the spots, but it was also the stripping of WWE all over the place. Turnbuckles, the W's got covered up. The entire LEDs around the entire ring essentially was blacked out. The ref is no longer in his straight.
Even the lighting on the crowd was darkened.
all darkened, right? It's just right here. So everything that they did for a visual standpoint to me was fantastic with what they did. Probably the scariest spot that got me to cringe at was when, was it Owens? Yeah, he went through the established chair. You remember, was it the suplex or whatever type of move that Sammy had done? That was the one thing. And also when Owens took that dive into the barbed wire chair, the side of his head, I don't know if you noticed, but his whole eye was definitely swollen. So you had the moments, of course, like you guys had mentioned, where it's making you pop and it's like, whoa, absolutely. Like, how do you stand out with Cardgill's return, the ladies putting on what they did? Obviously, everyone knows that there's going to be some type of ridiculousness in the men's, and of course, with Papa Croc coming out, board member Johnson. So how do you stick out? And these guys, they crushed it. Peep Show Owens through, of course, you know, the back door creeping on Sammy and his family. Anything that Owens is doing here has been memorable to where you're not forgetting about him. And he's making a case where it just makes it harder and harder for him potentially to say that he's not one of the best performers that they have on that roster.
No, agreed. So, Gonzo, where do we go from here? Like, what's going on with this feud? Who are we getting at Mania?
I want Kevin Owens' head to go flying into the stadium crowd. I want it punted, repetitive. And that's what I want. So I don't know what it looks like, how it's supposed to make sense, but I want Legend Killer versus whatever Kevin Owens is calling himself right now. If it's just those two, then so be it, because you can put Zayn now up on the shelf and Randy can step in now for the next, 50 days to do what he needs to. And so, hey, let's go. I don't know what night it's going to be on, but you know what? There's a lot of investment now because there's a lot of forbidden moves that are being utilized whenever Owens does wrestle and when he's being utilized with other trusted talent. So I'm actually intrigued to see what other types of things that we as WWE fans have not been allowed to see because of safety and protection and censorship with certain things. So that's where I want this to go, is more of what else can you now present to me that I haven't seen in quite some time. I'm excited. So therefore, watching my wife's reactions to all the things that she's never seen before. So for that fan who has not had the opportunity to witness this just yet on a more reduced product, right? Because if you go to AEW, there's some pretty hellacious matches that they throw together. So this is starting to teeter-totter into that realm, but with a little bit more of a controlled vibe, and I'm all for it.
Okay. All right. Let's talk about the main event, guys. We have the men's elimination chamber. John Cena did it. I think we all predicted it. I think it was 100% going that way. Before we talk about corporate Cena, what do you guys think of the match? And should someone else have won this match if it wasn't Cena, or are you content with who it was without you guys knowing him going to corporate Cena mode? Gonzo, take it away. So what do you think of the match? Was it the right call for Cena to win the match?
You protected Punk and you protected Cena all the way to the end. I said Punk wins. It's always Punk wins. No matter what he does, it's always Punk wins for me. There's also a favor that needs to be cashed in now. So regardless if it was Punk winning or if he didn't win, and you have it now to Cena as the farewell tour goes, I had faith that something wild was going to happen regardless. So to me, it was going to be made sense of. That's an improper use of sentencing and words right there, but I'm so excited even talking about it that they were going to make it work. It doesn't matter. And to me, it wasn't forced upon because, again, the foreshadowing of what has been happening here where Cena has been, I'm thrusting myself into the match. The I'm sorry as he screams it out takes advantage of what Rollins does right in front of him. Like all these things were unfolding in front of you. A desperate man that wanted one last possibility of walking down the, golden road to another championship, cashing in on his final, exit out of the company. I'm excited for that story. I have been for quite some time.
Angel, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, that's basically everything that Gonzo said, but I think I'm convinced, yeah. Cena wins this match because Punk has that favor with Paul. I think we're going to see some sort of triple threat at WrestleMania. At least I'm hoping for it. I just don't see Cena versus Cody being the only two people in that match. I just don't. It just seems that that's the way they're going to go with it. We'll see. But as far as the match itself, it was exciting. The spots were cool. When Cena came in and just started, what is it called? AA? I call it the FU. He FU'd everybody. So
Attitude adjustment.
He had a lot of energy coming in.
It's
Logan
like he
Paul
entered
did
in
okay.
SmackDown 2 with all 5 specials ready to go.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
right.
There you go.
You know?
Perfect example. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was cool to see. A lot of people got hit with some moves and kicked out. Cena kicked out of a GTS. Punk kicked out of a bunch of stuff. He got stomped. He got AA'd like twice. Kicked out almost every time. It took a stomp on the apron side of the ring and then STFU or whatever to put him out. So that was a lot to put down Punk, which is pretty cool to see. But yeah, I don't know. As we go on, I think we're going to see a triple threat with Punk cashing in that favor.
So I thought it was just the match overall was great because of the storytelling. Even the way they entered, Logan Paul was in. He was the first one in. He got booed out of the building as he should. One of the top heels in the business, in my opinion. And you even see CM Punk come, and Punk always goes on the ropes, but he always goes on the ropes toward the camera side. They had to adjust the camera view because he went towards Logan Paul's pod and going up on the rope and was just talking shit to him. So you had that story happening. You had CM Punk eliminating Logan Paul, pretty much saying, "Shut the fuck up, kid. You don't know what you're doing." There's this tremendous story throughout. Big story between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. Seth Rollins was eliminated. Seth Rollins cost CM Punk the match. He stomped him, and Corporate Cena came and pinned him, and it's all she wrote, right? So that's why I think you guys are wrong.
He passed him out.
Yeah, he passed him out. There you go. He passed him out with I forgot what his move's called. It's STFU. Yeah. So yeah, he passed out Punk. So he cost him the title match, right? So I think you guys are wrong, respectfully, but I don't think this favor is going to be cashed in yet. I think you're getting Seth and CM Punk, like we've been saying all along. If anything, maybe Roman gets thrusted into that match, which I don't really think it's necessary, just because of the Royal Rumble story on how that brawl happened outside of the Royal Rumble between those guys and how CM Punk just stomped everyone in his path. But I just don't think that's the story we're going to get at this point. Everyone's still, salivating at that I need that favor. I just don't see it. With the story being set up with Corporate Cena and Cody Rhodes now, it's a one-on-one at this point, and there's going to be shenanigans. Excuse me. And we're going to see a 17th championship. There's no doubt in my mind. There's no doubt. Like, I've been saying it because I thought he was going to fight Gunther, but now it's just like Cody Rhodes is really going to take.
I thought we're going to wait for the next part to talk about.
We are. I know. It's just like going back to the Chamber actually match itself. This is just all that story. You know what I mean? Like, all this is being set up for us, so we know the winners of the Chamber. We already knew who the Royal Rumble winners picked. And as far as non-title matches are going right now, we're going to see Jade and somebody else. Don't know who yet, and I think it's CM Punk and Seth. That's the story we're getting. Drew McIntyre, I don't know. I mean, he got that cheap pin by by Damian Priest, I believe. Got him with that roll-up, if I'm not mistaken. So, I mean, I don't know if that's WrestleMania worthy. I mean, Drew McIntyre's going to come out tomorrow bitching about how he got screwed again. So, I mean, story-wise, that's how we were set up. That's how I viewed that match. And the match was just great throughout, just because of how things fell, entrances, matches, who got eliminated, how they got eliminated, who got screwed, all that stuff. Real quick before we move on to the next thing, both titles have to change hands. They have to, okay, in order to make future matches more interesting. Okay. All right. Well, since I kind of already said my piece, I'm not going to repeat myself. So let's talk about the heel turn, guys. Corporate Cena, never give up. Now he's part of the final boss, guys. I mean, I didn't think it was gonna happen. I mean, Hollywood Cena maybe is what we're thinking. But what do you guys think, man? Like, do you guys love it? I mean, WWE finally pulled the trigger. Everyone's been saying, do we get Thugonomics back? What? Take me to your thoughts. I mean, this is something I was on the Angel train. I was like, we're definitely getting Cody. Like, that's gonna happen. Like, Angel convinced me like we were in court last week. Like, this was gonna happen. And then we got the Cena, and I was just like, whoa. So,
And the defense was wrong.
I mean,
one of the greatest curves of all time. Oh my! Well, Mark, you just started off. Go ahead. You go first.
I already
Share your
did.
piece.
I mean, I loved it. I mean, it was great. I mean, it's as wrestling fans, guys, we want the unexpected, right? I mean, in an unexpected standpoint, I never thought on his farewell tour that he doesn't show up for, where he was gonna actually turn heel. I mean, the fans been wanting this for his entire career. And you do it now on the farewell tour, I think it's wild, and I think it's great. I think it's genius. Angel was wrong. We were all wrong because Angel's, court skills.
Kinda.
I mean,
I'm kind of right though.
I think it's wild. Go ahead, Angel. You're kind of right. Go ahead. Take it over.
Well, first I'll say Cody's interruption of John's win, immediately I knew something was up. I was like, wait, why is Cody coming out with John still in the ring? There's no reason for that.
To promote Mania.
No, dude. There was something more to that. There was something to decide the decision.
To shake his hand. To shake his hand. You know what I mean? Like,
okay, fine.
But go on.
Move on to. I'm kind of right in the fact that there was a heel turn coming. I felt it in my bones. I just had the wrong guy.
You said Cody was turning, and you convinced us.
No.
Like the guy was on death row, and we said, "Oh shit, you're right. He's innocent." And that's what we did as a jury.
Guess what? Well, how about this? We've always said, Cody, you can never turn him. He can never turn heel. He's the only face. And who's the only other guy that we always say, oh, he can't turn him. He's got to be face. So who better in the whole world of wrestling to turn more than Cody is John Cena. It's just the older version of Cody Rhodes. So
it was great.
It's his time. So if you think about it that way, I was kind of right. But John Cena using this for his farewell tour, I think is pretty genius. It gives him motivation. It's the first time he ever really needs to turn heel because he's that desperate. He wants the record. He wants to get that belt again, and he's doing anything and everything to get it, including selling his soul. So I think it's genius. I don't think it's ever really been done before. Has anyone ever turned heel on a farewell tour? Like, it's very unique and first of its kind of. I mean,
was Hollywood or you know how The Rock turned heel during the Hollywood Hogan, and after that The Rock disappeared. After that, I mean, maybe that one.
Kind of, yeah.
But I guess Rock keeps coming back. So I mean, guess not. I mean, I don't know. Mike says it's still not more shocking than Hogan turning heel. A lot of people are claiming it's better. Is it better?
It might be. Because John Cena, because Hogan never really was like. I guess he was kind of like that with the kids though too.
No, Hogan was the first one.
Hogan was.
John Cena's 2.0, bro.
But John Cena's like the Make-A-Wish stuff and all that, and he's obsessed with like making sure that the young crowd,
I mean, Hogan was kissing babies. Everyone loved him. America. Make it great again with that fucking guy. Like that was him. He was the guy. He was the poster boy WWF. He was the man that made wrestling what it was. He was the poster child for WWF. This is the guy you build. He sells out.
But it's Hulk Hogan. But Hulk Hogan still went through all the demographics. Cena, he's always going to be considered more of the younger crowds. The adolescent crowd more than almost any wrestler ever. So for him turning heel, it's still a little bit more shocking because of who his demographic is. I mean, these little kids, well, I guess they're adults now, right? So it doesn't really matter anymore. But like those kids that love John Cena, if they're still kids, they got to be in shock to see their hero go like I don't know. It's a little bit
I
different.
mean, everyone was in shock in WCW. I mean, people were crying. They were like, "What the hell, my hero?"
My
You know?
hero. Yeah. True.
Let the record show I say fuck Hulk Hogan. Gonzo, what do you think about all this?
God, where do I even begin? Sitting on the couch and then taking it all in as it's happening. Punk is tapping out right in the chamber, but you hear John Cena screaming, "I'm sorry." It's all right there, right in front of us. CM Punk makes the comment, your true friends will stab you while they're in front of you. It's all been seed dropping left and right, left and right. Did I ever consider that Cena would be the one? We jokingly had made mention of that last week. Fans have been wanting a heel turn for Cena for 10 years now? There was even the Bray Wyatt, the Firefly Funhouse crap where he had the NWO shirt on and all that. So you think you'd never be able to get it, but yet it has finally arrived. I'm sitting on my couch, and then all of a sudden, when it cuts to the scene where they go to embrace each other, action figure number 1 and action figure number 2, and then it cuts to board member Johnson doing the throat slit and throws up his fingers. Immediately, I jumped up out of my seat, and I honestly, I blacked out. I whited out. I'm just screaming. And so all of a sudden he gets the low blow. And then there's the odd thing that Travis Scott was doing throughout that whole thing, which
Oh, dude, I forgot about that. They slapped the shit out of him.
That was so weird.
So let me rupture your eardrum while then you get welted with, the weightlifting. Is it bigger than Hogan's heel turn? Time will tell. I am of age to remember this. I don't remember the heel turn for Hogan as it happened in real life. So therefore, I'm not going to comment on that. Like, to me, I've only heard about, obviously, how significant and impactful Hogan's heel turn is. I got to see this. I know who Cena is. All the years of watching and how he does things. You even have, McIntyre throwing promos and how I was once afraid of you. I'm not scared of you anymore. And it's all these callbacks, and it's these building up Cena, even when he wasn't there. The talent had put him over in so many ways, constantly calling him out, especially on SmackDown, leading into Chamber itself. If you couldn't tell, I'm rather excited about this. The crowd sees it. The crowd erupts. They go white hot. It's not booing. It's not screaming. It's not beer and food and any other type of projectile being thrown into the ring like it was at Bash at the Beach. So this is one of those things where I wonder where this is going to cement itself in the grand scheme of all of wrestling history. So corporate Cena, board member Johnson, whatever it is that you want to refer to it as now. I mean, I'm just along for the ride at this point because I didn't think that we would even have the chance to talk about this. This is more about fantasy booking, and here we go. The fantasy is starting to come to life in front of us. And you want to know who's going to this in less than 50 days? The three of us are. So I don't know what this is going to turn into. My question, more so than ever now, is what is the favor? Tell me, what is the favor? I don't know what the favor is going to be. Is it going to be used now? Is it going to be used in a month, 10 months down the road? Where's Roman Reigns? Rock versus Roman. Is it this year? Is it next year? I have no idea. This all is going to be wild, but there's 10 more months of John Cena left. That was made very apparent when they were, again, introducing it at the start of Elimination Chamber and the whole thing. So Cena is definitely going to be present on select showings, but now it's going to fit right all into the storyline. Do we get a part-time champion? Here we go. Let's add more fuel to the fire.
You sure do, because his freaking retirement tour, he's been like 3 appearances.
Give me the merch. As soon as the stuff comes
even
out,
CM Punk called him out. When CM Punk called him out on SmackDown, he's like, like, it was amazing. I loved it. Let's get to these comments real quick and we'll continue. So on the Hogan comment, Derek, the guy says, I wouldn't know since I'm not 1,000 years old and don't remember Hogan. I feel like I was more shocking because of the Make-A-Wish stuff. He agrees with Angel. What are you, 12? Like, how do you not know?
12.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand. Birth certificate. What else we got here? Child of God, thank you for joining. We're good. Thanks for watching. Derek the Guy again. Travis Scott better hope he's nowhere in a ring with Cody. That man gonna get back and beat the fuck out of him. Dude, this Travis Scott, like, what was he doing? I thought he was lighting up a blunt in the corner the entire time.
No.
Then I was like, the Sage.
Oh
I was like,
God.
oh, okay. I was like,
Sage,
because they didn't mention Michael Cole didn't say he was Sage until Cody was bloody on the floor. But the entire time, I'm thinking he's in the corner, just like, oh, like this guy about to get his ass whooped, like try to light this blunt. Like, what is going on? Like,
you know what happened? I think didn't he have a blunt his last appearance, and he made a joke that it was Sage? I think that's what happened. That they claimed it was Sage.
I didn't catch that.
To hide it. I gotta look it. I'll look it up. I think because he was smoking, and that with Jey Uso. Remember when he came out with Jey Uso and he had the blunt? So I think they made either a joke or they were trying to sell it as a Sage. I'll look it up. We'll talk about it next time.
Back to the comments. Derek the Guy says, I was -1 when Hogan turned. Child of God, do you guys think John Cena wins the WWE title at WrestleMania 41? All right, screw it. Let's talk about it. That's the next segment anyway. WrestleMania, does John Cena win?
My first comment to lead into this then is that it took 21 years, 3 months, and 23 days as a babyface to finally get heel Cena. Nothing.
Wow, this guy really fucking Googled some numbers.
That is right. I don't even know if this is all made up. Someone apparently says that it's been 7,786 days until we finally got heel Cena. Never say never. It is literally coming full circle. So to answer that question, yes, he's going to win it. Why not at this point? Because I said, apparently, we're never going to get heel Cena, and yet he has finally arrived. And if you're all Dragon Ball fans too, this was just a miraculous week for just conclusions to things. Those
Angel,
who know.
Why don't you answer Child of God's question? Does John Cena win the illustrious number 17, beating Ric Flair's all-time world championship record?
He'll break the record, but it's not going to be at Mania. I don't see him winning. I think Cody retains the belt. I still do. I feel like Cody has to lose the belt to Roman. I don't think Cody's going to lose again until he faces Roman or Punk. Depends who gets to him first, whichever show that will
be. Interesting. So you're saying Cody retains and what? John Cena changes his championship opponent and go to whoever has the World Heavyweight Championship?
That's either possible. Does that count towards his record? It doesn't matter. Yes,
they all do. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, for sure. He could go after Jey Uso or whatever. Gunther if he happens to win. But, yeah. Sure. He can go to the other brand. Or he could just – it could create it extends his story as corporate Cena. If Cody gets away with it somehow, he barely escapes that match, either one-on-one with cheating Cena or, in a triple threat with Punk cheating Cena and himself. But either way, if he escapes with the belt there, that makes that story go even longer. It gets The Rock more desperate. Does he add to his corporate team? He's got Travis Scott and John Cena right now. There could be more coming. We don't know. This is, obviously he's separating himself from the bloodline. Does Cody go and ask the bloodline for a favor back? Like, I helped you, Roman. Help me, get the OG bloodline back to help him again because he did them that favor. So, there's a lot of ways it can go. I don't think Cena winning keeps the story going right now, in my opinion. If he wins, he breaks the record. But, then you're going to have Cody going after it, kind of like he was with Roman. I don't know. It's not the same to me.
So my quick answer before Gonzo goes, I know he wants to go because mine's going to be quick. There's no chance in hell at this point, and I know I've been on the Cody versus Roman bandwagon part 3. You can get part 3 at any time now.
For
at this
3
point.
Years now.
It's not happening anymore. There's no chance in hell Cena's walking out of there without number 17. Gonzo, you can go ahead.
It's been 25 years since I won my last 16th world championship, says Ric Flair. According to WWE, blood, sweat, and tears, Harley Race, Bruiser Brody, Terry Funk, Dusty Rhodes, Bret Hart, Undertaker, Ricky Steamboat. The list is endless of world opponents. Unparalleled. My 1984 schedule has actually been called impossible to perform. 60 and 90-minute matches. Let's get serious. At Jot Cena. I love you and respect you, but you ain't taking nothing from the American Nightmare, Cody. If I have to fight my way through security to hit the ring, I will. I'll do this all day on blood thinners. LFG, let's do this. Ric Flair had sent this out for the social media, and apparently Team Cody has gained someone, regardless of his age, to ensure in this keeping of his title where it needs to be protected from the corporation, right? The final boss, whatever it is that we're going to be calling them. Will John win it? I'm going to say yeah. How he wins it? You have the corporation behind you. You have a stacked deck behind you. Tell me how you plan on winning now, where you have the board of TKO along with other board members that potentially could get involved with this now. And of course, everyone's paying attention now to the finger gestures. Bad Blood, the 3-finger throat slit. I know those have been speculating about Rock only throwing up 2 fingers now. Is there another person that's going to be involved in this? Time can only tell at this point. It's going to be a wild thing. This is definitely going to be beyond, titles, but we're going to see an origin story as to why Cena turned heel, and I'm very intrigued to see where this now goes.
Well, while Gonzo lives in Fantasyland, Ric Flair's not helping nobody because he's under contract with AEW. So going on, Jelly Cards, thank you for joining, my man. Do you guys think Cena's farewell tour was always headed in this direction, or was this a change of plan on the spot? That's a good question. Angel?
I think it was always in the plans. Yeah. He's talked about it before, and I think that was why they went with the Cody turning heel thing. Like it was the straw man. You thought it was going to be Cody turning heel. They had me going. They convinced me. They just did it in a different way so that you never thought about Cena. I will say, though, when Cena jumped up and pulled Punk back in after getting his head stomped, old Cena, I don't think would have taken that opportunity to take that win.
No, he doesn't.
So he showed you right there, oh, he's turning. Like you didn't really realize it because you never thought it was possible. But in that moment, he was already corporate Cena. It already happened. It was an elimination chamber. That was a true reveal.
It's great you said that because I didn't even pay attention to that because I was more on the fucking
That's
Seth
why he was
Rollins.
saying he was sorry, like Gonzo said.
I was like, fucking Seth Rollins just cost CM Punk this match. That's what I was like, are you kidding me? I'm like, we're getting John Cena Ultra Face, CM Punk. Cody Rhodes Ultra Face. Like that's what I was thinking. I still didn't think.
You got corporate Cena at the press conference. He just inserts himself into it. John Cena of old does not do that. This is all been there in front of us.
And technically, they can even retcon this and say he told The Rock, or The Rock told him, "You're in the Elimination Chamber." Because if Cody doesn't take my offer, he's out, and you're going to take him out, and you're going to take his spot, and that's what happened.
Agreed, man. It's all cinema right now. We believe Cena will win at Mania, and he's going to be the champ for the majority of the year. I think so too. And I wonder what that does to his card market. We'll talk. Let's see. Is there anything else you guys want to add to the corporate Cena heel turn?
I think the triple threat is still really high as an option for this match because I feel like that's how they could make it a no holds barred. Because if you think about last year and how it was just a cameo after cameo, interference after interference, Avengers Endgame style. I feel like this year they're going to want to do that same thing. Like, how do you top last year with just one-on-one singles when last year you had literally every star you could find in the match? I mean, it's possible they could keep it a singles match with little interference, but I don't see it with The Rock involved. He gets to change the rules anyway, so I guess it doesn't really matter if it's a triple threat or not.
You just said it. You just said it. The Rock can change the rules anyway. I mean, if it's not a triple threat, if it's just a one-on-one, he could be like, yeah, there's no DQ mid-match and boom, you're done. You know
exactly.
What I mean? So, last one. Cena was more animated than ever since he came back, so it makes sense now why he was so over the top nice during matches. Yeah, for sure. Okay, and then Child of God. What do you guys think of Tiffany and Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania, and who do you think they will have Tiffany? Or do you think? I think he means, do you think Tiffany retains? We're gonna talk about WrestleMania right now, actually. So here we go. So the current card as it stands, we got the World Heavyweight Championship match, Gunther defending against Jey Uso. We have the WWE Women's Championship match, Tiffany Stratton defending against Charlotte Flair. We now have the Women's World Championship match, Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair. and then the WWE Undisputed Championship match, Cody Rhodes versus Corporate Cena. So of those 4 confirmed matches, do we have any titles changing hands? If so, which ones? Angel, you're nodding your head. Go ahead.
Jey Uso's winning without a doubt.
Okay.
I don't think it's even close. And Rhea's probably losing that belt. I think it was her winning the belt again was just a thank you for getting after she got injured, she had to drop it. So I think that was just her thank you for that time of her coming back and stuff. But I think it's her time to lose it again, and Bianca's going to get it, and it's going to be part of that story with Jade. So those 2 for sure. I already told you I don't believe Cody's going to lose. I don't care what the situation is. Triple threat, handicap, fatal 4-way, I don't know, whatever The Rock wants it to be. I still think he comes out on top in that match no matter who it is. Unless Punk's involved, there's a possibility Punk could beat him, but I don't know. I don't think so. I think if he's going to lose, it's going to be Cena, because then he can get the record. So never mind. I think it's
so.
Cody
We just
no
got off a 3.5-year title reign with Roman Reigns, all right, and now you finally have something fresh with Cody Rhodes. We're coming up on a year for Cody Rhodes, and you still think Cody Rhodes retains and continues this long title reign?
I do. Yep.
Okay.
I think he has the story for it. He has the enemies for it. Every single person's going after him, like I told you before. Just because he didn't turn heel doesn't mean he still has the same enemies that he's been having and the threats that he's been threatened with. Everyone's going for his title. How often did you see Punk going for the WWE title? It was always about the World Heavyweight since he got back to Raw. Now he's only talking about Cody's. I mean, obviously that was for the Elimination Chamber promos, but
yeah, but
I don't
now
see it changing anytime soon.
But now, if you go back to actual roster rules, talking about Cody's title is irrelevant now.
Well, didn't you say that it's possible they're going to move Cody to Raw?
It's possible.
Jey Uso gets moved to SmackDown.
It's possible.
It's definitely possible.
It's possible.
So that's what I think about that one. And was that it? It's 4 matches? Yeah, I said Jey.
4 confirmed matches, just the
Tiffy?
title matches.
Yeah, and Tiffy. Yeah, Tiffy, to me, Tiffy should win. I'm sorry, Charlotte. I know that, that's great that she's the GOAT, but if Charlotte wins the title, I'm not going to be too happy about it. I don't think.
There you go.
Tiffy's too.
Child of God's thing right
hot.
there. I think he agrees with you. So if you guys think Charlotte Flair wins the title, if she wins, what was the point of Tiffany holding the title? I think we all agree with you on that in that regard.
Yeah. I just think it was another just giving Charlotte her due. It's kind of like Cena when he was put into the Elimination Chamber. You get to come back, you win Royal Rumble. That's like her high moment. But to give her the title too that'd be a lot. I don't know. She got something going on.
You already know how I feel about
WWE Corporation.
You already know how I feel about her. So
that's
her
crazy if she wins the title,
ass.
dude. Royal Rumble and beating Tiffy, who's one of the hottest superstars in the whole company. I don't know about that one, bro. So yeah, those are my predictions. Go ahead.
Gonzo, the 4 confirmed matches. Anybody changing hands? Any titles changing hands? Excuse me.
Given, right?
I think we all agree.
Yeah. For those of you that can't see me, it's me just yeeting. So, I mean, anyway, that one definitely is changing hands. I've already said that the main title, the big title, is changing hands, with Cena. And so you have Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Why not? Give it to her. Let's piss off everybody else on top of this. Lose half the locker room. Create more story mode with the corporation.
Can we get back? Can we get back?
And
to
is there a resurgence of a corporation again? I don't know. What is old is always new.
Charlotte
again, right?
joining the Corp? Are you saying Charlotte's going to join the Corp?
What is old is always new again, right? Has there been enough time potentially to where whatever version the Authority Triple H was, whatever that was called, has there been enough time to allow for a new one to form? That's a fair question. I think that could be presented.
It's already formed, in our opinion, I think, right?
It could be presented. I'm not saying people are going to like it, but if that is the direction where they're going to create this new
Charlotte would be a good one to join. You have a really good idea there with Charlotte joining them. I think that would be really good.
And what was the last one? What was the last one that was the 4th confirmed match?
Rhea Ripley and
Bianca
Belair, Gunther versus Jey Uso, and then obviously Corporate Cena versus Cody Rhodes, and then your Charlotte Flair,
Tiffy
corporate,
and Charlotte. Yeah.
I'll just say they're all changing hands. Why not? I mean, one or two of these are going to change hands. And all of them? That'd be wild if they did all of them. But why not? All four of them are going to change hands at this point because the stories that you could potentially present and tell with it, there's not enough for this next one with Rhea and Bianca just yet. They're going to tell us here, obviously, as we're leading into this. And I mean, if Cena doesn't win for whatever reason, in fantasy booking land, there are some people that are even saying that somehow, some way, there's a triple threat match of Rollins, Roman, Punk, because if the stipulation is if, the favorite comes into play, if if Punk somehow wins, he gets inserted as a triple threat match for the main event in night 2, and you possibly could see a heel turn for Punk, and he wins the title. Again, that's fantasy booking to a significant degree. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but I mean, who knows at this point? I'm just saying that title somehow is not going to be around Cody.
I just don't see a triple threat match for the championship. I think it's just Cody Cena straight up. I really do. There's nothing right now indicating this is going to happen. The story's been given to us.
That's so risky. That's so risky to have Punk not main event WrestleMania for another year. So risky.
I mean, you made him lose his both matches, bro.
His career could end any day. His career could end any day. You see it all the time. Gonzo cringes anytime he watches him wrestle.
I don't see it.
He fucking walks in and I have to hold my breath.
Another full year of Cena holding Gonzo for a full 12 months is going to be holding his breath for next WrestleMania to see.
This
Punk
is the closest. This is the closest that I'm going to get to it.
Come
in
on,
all
man.
The
That's
Punk
a
fandom.
long time, dude.
Let me ask you one question.
I
understand it's a long time, but let me ask you one question, all right? Because this freaking triple threat, I'm tired of talking about it. But is there a timetable of this fucking favor that I'm not seeing? Like he has to use it right now? I mean,
he's not hurt.
Is long-term storytelling dead? Can he not use it next year or in summer or in winter?
He missed out on last WrestleMania that he was scheduled to be on. He was scheduled to be in that WrestleMania, and he had to get taken off of it. I'm telling you.
If he
there's
didn't
no
have
shot he's gonna miss a second one
of just saying hello,
he's
and
not
gonna
miss it.
Quadriceps
he's fighting
and
Seth Rollins. The story's there. The story was told to you.
His story is to main event WrestleMania. That's his story. That
doesn't matter how
he invented the story.
Not right now.
No. CM Punk invented the story.
Not right
Cody
now.
just did it in a different way. Oh, I gotta write my story. CM Punk's story is the main event of WrestleMania. Right. He says it his whole career. That's his story. And they're going to make him wait another full year. There's no shot. There's no shot.
Yeah.
There's no shot.
The stories right now, like, I mean, we're all fanboys of CM Punk. I love CM Punk. You love CM Punk. We all love CM Punk. All right. But the story right now with Cody and corporate Cena, that is so on fire because of what they did. Why would we insert CM Punk into it? Why? When he already has his rivalry right now that has been told with the elimination of that Brawl.
You're thinking small picture. You're thinking small picture. You can't look at it just about these next 2 months. I know it's WrestleMania season, but you can't look at it that way because that dude could be out for career by July. You have no idea. Just like it happened to him last year. He got hurt at Rumble. He didn't even come back in time to even – all he could do was talk on the mic at the WrestleMania last year.
If it's a triple threat match with Cody and Cena and Punk makes the most sense to win? Question mark.
I'm speaking from my emotion. My answer is always yes to CM, so I can't be included in this conversation.
I will say no. I think Cody or Punk's story is to main event WrestleMania. It's not to win at WrestleMania. So he'd be there, but he's not going to win.
Oh, dude, Angel, last week you were like on fire. Like you were like the champion of Around the Horn, Smack Talk edition. And today I just want to go through the screen. Like, oh,
why? Because if it is a triple threat, you think Punk's winning no matter what?
Bro, if you're gonna ruin this whole thing, and I'm using the word ruin, I use the correct word because the right now with this one night of Cena and Cody Rhodes has already been built.
Jelly Cards.
Jelly Card's about to get blocked. Hold on. So and then you're gonna include CM Punk into this, and then you'll make him lose. First of all, you make CM Punk look like a bitch because he had to use a favor to get to the WrestleMania instead of earning it. Secondly, you're gonna make him lose that match that he finally gets to freaking main event. I'm sorry, Angel. Like, come on.
Yeah, the
I
story
think
is
we're gonna
not
have
to
to
win.
we're gonna have to agree to disagree on this one because we could just go all day with just going back.
You're
and
not looking at the
forth,
facts,
but-
Mark. You're not looking at the facts.
Hold on. There's a lot of comments here. We'll get to you in a second, Child of God. Sorry. Thank you for your comment. Give me a second. Sorry, Mark, but I think you're wrong about Punk. LOL. You think his moment came on Netflix debut? Dude, that was 5 million people live.
That was his moment.
Child of God, do you think Randy Orton will get into trouble at WrestleMania hitting the punt kick on Kevin Owens considered it's a bad move? They were teasing it. They're allowing him to use it. He's not gonna get in trouble.
Yeah, it's just like Kevin does the
Pile drivers.
pile driver.
Do you guys think John Cena faces CM Punk at Money in the Bank considering it's his farewell tour? I don't know. John Cena never shows up
2011.
for anything. John Cena never shows up for shit. So I don't
Doesn't
know.
have to. He's part of the corporation.
All right. This turned into a CM
dude,
Punk.
you know what? Hold on.
Main
Hold
event.
on.
All right, go ahead.
Dave just
Go ahead.
hit it on the head. Because that's what Michael Cole said. You can be part-time. You don't have to show up. You can be with your family. Cena took that deal. I don't have to show up.
Yeah.
Ooh, Gonzo hit it. I don't have to show up.
A shitty farewell tour. Doesn't even qualify. All right. So possible. Let's end it on this. We got possible WrestleMania matches here. All right. So who does Jade Cargill face? Is it Naomi? I mean, does she, like I said, Triple H at the end of his at the Elimination Post interview, he said like no main event is kind of safe, so nothing's set in stone. I know you guys want CM Punk, and we just get off the CM Punk thing for a second. And could it be maybe Jade Cargill inserting herself, making that a triple threat? I don't know. Then we got KO maybe versus Sammy or Randy. Where do we go from there? CM Punk versus Rollins, we discussed. Maybe Roman. I mean, that is just my whole argument with you guys here is if we keep to Triple H's booking scheme, Triple H books each PLE with the exception of the big ones like Chamber and Survivor Series War Games because of how long those matches are. He usually books 6 matches. So if we're looking 6 matches for night 1, 6 matches for night 2, that's 12 total matches. You're going to insert CM Punk into that triple threat. I mean, you lose a rivalry match, right, with Seth Rollins. I mean, it's just different things like that I consider as booking, right? Many would say we have a weak main event between Gunther and Jey Uso. Maybe we have a weak main event right now with Rhea Ripley and what's her name? Bianca Belair. So I mean, it's just those other matches that you have to have to fill out this card. I mean, we don't know if Braun Breaker is going to be defending. We don't know if the 2 women's championships, the IC in the United States, are going to be defended yet. All that has to come. I mean, we got a month and a half left till WrestleMania. But I mean, those are just the things I think about. You take CM Punk out. We're going to use this example. You take CM Punk out and you guys want him in that triple threat match. You lose a whole rivalry that has been building. It's just those is like, what do we do here? So what other matches do you want to see on this card based on the story that we have right now leading up to we're not even talking about Chamber anymore. Just based on the stories that we have on Raw and SmackDown, what fills out this card?
I have some ideas.
Okay, let's hear them, please.
Okay, some sort of Jacob Fatu has to be done on WrestleMania. I don't know if it's going to be the U.S. title or whatever the case may be, but somehow, some way, Jacob Fatu, or maybe the tag team titles again, I don't know. But somehow, some way, they got to get Jacob on the WrestleMania card. Between a Saturday and a Sunday card, he should be on one of those days for sure, if he's able and willing, in my opinion. As far as how it's going to be, I don't know. But like I said, he needs to be there. I will also say that I have a feeling that. Do you know if Bad Bunny is working out? Has anyone heard anything about him?
I haven't heard any chatter about Bad Bunny.
I know he has a lot of shows coming up this summer, so I don't know how much he's doing right now at this moment, but I think there's something there between him and Logan, and it would be cool to see Logan Paul versus Bad Bunny at WrestleMania. I think that's something that could be teased and then increase the following that's going to be there if he was there. I think it's a possibility that he would face Logan. I think he even sent out a tweet that he's the greatest celebrity wrestler of all time or something like that. Back when Logan like came back, I think.
I don't even consider Logan as a celebrity wrestler anymore, man. That guy could go, bro. Like this is his business,
no,
man.
but this is what Bad Bunny called him.
No, yeah,
it wasn't, yeah. I'm not calling him that. So, but I'm saying he's calling him out. So I feel like there's a potential matchup there that could happen because Logan just lost his shot at main eventing. And then one more match. This was more of a question or than a prediction. Do you guys potentially see any chance? Because does TNA have a show that week?
They have a pay-per-view on Friday night.
Is it Vegas?
Yeah.
So is there a potential shot that we see a tag team title TLC match?
Oh, if the Hardys are in it, yes. Yeah, if the Hardys are in it, yes.
The Hardy Boys involved?
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking is maybe a TLC match with all the great tag teams that can handle it, like Fraxium and such. You could throw them in there, or the main card guys too, whatever. But somehow the Hardy Boys could be in a TLC match. Now for the rest of the cards, I mean, I guess you're gonna see the women's IC title and US title and all those going on. I don't know about who's gonna be in them as of right now, but and then the men's one, I kind of talked about the US title a little bit. I see Braun Breaker. I don't know who he would face up against right now. I'm Solo.
Jelly Card says AJ Styles.
It's SmackDown. AJ Styles, yeah. AJ Styles is one. So it really depends. And then, yeah, I think that's it. Did I miss any other titles? The tag team titles I already talked about. I guess the other tag titles. Who has them right now? And Raw. Oh, it's
on Raw.
Yeah, who has the titles for Raw? Can't remember.
Isn't it the Viking Raiders?
Mm-hmm. Is it still the Raiders?
Or whatever the hell they're called? Yeah.
The War Raiders.
Yeah, the War Raiders. Because they should remember we talked about it last week. The Alpha Academy, or I'm sorry. American Made should have took
American Made. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I don't know. That one is. Yeah, I think the American Made should have won. So I don't even know about that one. Go ahead though. I'm done.
Gonzo, based on story from Raw or SmackDown. All right.
Without a shot of a doubt.
Fill out this cow. Yeah, go ahead.
Both the mid-card belts for the women have to be in some form on the main cards in Mania. They just have to. They're too new. You have Lyra, that again is an up-and-coming star. Whether they keep it on Chelsea Green or not, both those titles though have to be represented, I will argue, on night 1 and or 2.
Versus who?
I don't care who it's against, but the titles have to be there because of the significance that they have to be.
I agree, yeah.
So I don't know who it's going to be, but both the titles just have to be on the main card in some type of capacity. The War Raiders Tag Championships, because I was going to say just all the belts have to be at Mania in some type of display, right? But to be truthful with you, I don't care about the War Raiders. Those tag titles and the tag teams that they have on Raw
the night before
they're not great. SmackDown's roster with their tag teams, they need to be on there and be represented in some type of capacity. I'm more about the representation of the titles for sure, because you took all this time to de-unify them and to present the new titles, right? So I don't care who the hell it is at the moment, but they have to be there. There has to be an emphasis of some kind. I'll let you, Mark, be the one to be very specific as to who you'd like to see, but those belts are super important, at least to me, or at least you made me believe that they were important. You're making me believe that fake, 1B World Championship title was important with the people that you, of course, gave it to in order to make sure that it has some relevancy now. So please, it needs to be done the same with these other, titles away from, Cody, because again, that's what the show is going to be a pinnacle of. But I mean, how many non-title matches are there going to be for Mania for the 2 days? I think that's a fair question potentially to look at it, because I want the titles to be all represented in some type of capacity. I don't know how they're going to do it.
Could you see a Rock versus Roman non-title match?
Not this year.
No.
That's next year. Board member Johnson, because you're going to have now finally the substance outside of just the head of the table. It's the betrayal, the family, the head of the table. It's all these things. And that is going to be something that you're going to be able to feature down the road for more storytelling that won't need to be told at this WrestleMania this year.
So my point of it is this. This is the whole purpose of the question, and neither of you were able to give me a good answer. What stories right now can you book for Mania? And there isn't any. And that leads to my point where you can't really insert Punk into the title because of non-title matches. He has the hottest story right now with Seth Rollins. It's very hard for me to take that away. That's number one. Number two, I agree with Gonzo. Those titles are too new and they need to put more emphasis in it. So I believe that those women's championships need to be in there. However, I'm going to have to disagree with Gonzo on in a certain capacity. Not all the time are all the titles defended. It just doesn't happen. Should they be at WrestleMania because it's the show of all shows? Yes, 100%, always, all the time. I'm booking every single championship, but it's not going to happen.
They tier heat over belts, unfortunately. So the Royal Raiders,
Correct.
if they have the belt, they're not going to be on the card.
They have zero
Seth
heat.
have to have a match. Exactly.
I would make the argument that the New Day have more heat than them, and I think the New Day win those belts. Whoever's holding them at that time, whether it be a 2v2 match or a fatal 4-way, whatever. I think right now the hottest men's tag team on Raw is them. And honestly, they're kind of losing steam too, but that's just me. I'm not going to go into that. But that was just my whole point of the question, is just based off story, who goes there. So I think the United States, LA Knight type deal story with Shinsuke, that's someone that we would see. But non-title, there's not many out there. It's very hard. Rock versus Roman, I don't think we're ever going to get it, man. It's just you keep teasing and teasing and teasing. I mean, yeah, The Rock's in great shape, but he's getting fucking older too. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Real quick on these little comments, I'm trying to do it quickly. We're about to wrap up pretty soon. Lara Valkyria versus a returning Becky Lynch. I said that a couple of weeks ago. I think that would be a way to go. Dominic Mysterio maybe winning the Intercontinental Championship would be dope. Penta versus Mysterio, I think that would be really cool. But if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. I think Penta's brother Rey Fenix is about to be free, and I think they were just buying his time for Penta for his brother to come. So I think we get a Lucha Bros at WrestleMania in some capacity, assuming that the contract dispute is going to be done. So that's all that we could really say about that. Chelsea Green versus Lita, possibly. I mean, we usually do have like a Hall of Famer on there, but it just goes back to my whole thing is that there's not enough story right now. We need 12 matches, essentially 10 to 12 matches for WrestleMania 2 nights. It's hard for me to pull the CM Punk. That was just my whole point. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong all day. I mean, I've been saying for 3 years it's going to be Cody and Roman. I've been wrong. So, I mean, I said it was going to be Gunther versus John Cena. Fuck me. He turned heel. So, I mean, I don't know. It just is what it is. But we're gearing up on an hour and a half on this show. A lot longer than we used to, but this has been great. I want to thank you guys for hitting these comments. It has been absolutely amazing. We love you guys. So real quick, Gonzo, if you have a final thought, now's the time. If not, tell everybody what you got going on, where we can find you.
Man, I've said all I needed to say, at least tonight. I'm just excited for everything that's moving forward now. And we're going to see this all live here within the next 50 days. You can catch me on Instagram, TikTok, if it doesn't, get destroyed and taken away again. So the raising_personalities is where you can find me on both of those platforms. As far as, what I'm doing, I'm a full-time licensed behavioral health therapist that also helps and assists people with addiction complications as well. When I'm not doing that, I'm talking wrestling. I'm playing Pokemon Pocket, as far as Yu-Gi Master Duel. That's been on the side burner for now because Pokemon Pocket has basically consumed my life. So I talk all things, whether, again, it's in Fantasyland or, like I was saying, if it's, during my full-time job as a licensed therapist. So that's just a little bit about me.
All right, Angel, if you have a final thought, now's the time. If not, tell everybody what you got going on, where we can find you.
No final thought. We talked a lot today. You can find me on Kick and Twitch live at _OK Gaming on PS5, Rivals, and playing Pokemon and everything else. So you can find me there. And then on all socials, also at _OK Gaming.
We are getting WWE 2K25. Angel just says he streams on Twitch. He will be getting it, and we will be going at it on the My GM mode.
My GMs.
Be on the lookout for that. For me, I do have one final thought. It's very quick. I'm really pissed off about how Roxanne Perez performed at the Elimination Chamber. She got 0 eliminations. She did not perform well. You had a rocket strapped to her, and you did nothing with her at the Elimination Chamber. Shame on you, bad booking, WWE. For me, you can find me on all social media, pro_wrestling_kingpin, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, YouTube, Twitch, mainly here. And of course, you can listen to us every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. Or if you don't want to look at our ugly faces, you could always listen the next day on Spotify. Look up Smack Talk Wrestling Podcast. So once again, we want to thank you guys for joining, and we will see you next week. Acknowledge your tribal chief.
I miss him.